Today, we are piecing together a timeline of an almost unimaginable tragedy. What you're about to hear is a strictly chronological account of what happened in Shreveport, based entirely on the established facts of the case. The date was April 19th, 2026. It was a single day where an eruption of violence just ripped through a community. We're going to follow the sequence of events exactly as they happened, hour by hour. And our story starts here. 5 a.m. In the pre-dawn quiet, a chain of events was set in motion that would have absolutely devastating consequences. Okay, so let's get into the first part of this timeline, the break of dawn. This is when the first reports began to surface, turning what should have been a peaceful morning into the center of a horrific act of violence. At the center of these events is one man, Shamar Elkins. He was a 31-year-old military veteran, and he was a father. And as you'll see, those details just stand in such stark, unbelievable contrast to the violence that was about to unfold. Right around 5 o'clock in the morning, the violence kicked off here, at a home on Harrison Street. This was the first stop in a rampage that, unfortunately, was just getting started. From Harrison Street, Elkins then moved to a second house, this one on West 79th Street in the Cedar Grove neighborhood. And it was here, at this location, that this incident would reach its most tragic and deadly peak. So to put it all together, this timeline really breaks down the key moments of that morning. You have the initial attack, then that second, even more deadly encounter, which then leads to a high-speed pursuit and a final fatal confrontation. Right. So after the attacks, the perpetrator tries to flee. This is what triggered a massive manhunt that spread all across the city. This whole escape attempt was just violent and chaotic. It started with a carjacking at gunpoint. That then led to this incredibly dangerous high-speed police chase that actually crossed city lines into neighboring Bossier City before it all came to a violent end. And that end came on Brompton Lane. After a shootout with law enforcement, the manhunt was finally over. Shamar Elkins was killed right there on the scene. So, with the manhunt over, the city of Shreveport had to start grappling with the true, unspeakable cost of that morning's violence. 8. This is the number that just hangs over this entire case. It represents the most tragic outcome imaginable. 8 children were killed. The victims. They were 5 little girls and 3 little boys. An entire generation of one family, just gone. You know, when you're faced with such complete and total darkness, you have to ask the question, was there any light at all? Was there any hope to be found in any of this? And unbelievably, yes, a 13-year-old boy managed to escape. In what I can only describe as an incredible act of courage, he jumped from the roof of the home on West 79th Street to get away. He was the only child to survive. In the days that followed, you really saw the Shreveport community come together. They held prayer vigils, people left flowers, stuffed animals, handwritten notes, anything to honor the young lives that were so senselessly lost. So, as the city mourned, investigators were frantically searching for an answer to the one question everyone was asking: why? And it turns out, the answer might lie in what was scheduled to happen the very next day. Yeah, the investigation really quickly started to focus on a domestic conflict. The evidence was pointing not to some random act, but to something that was deeply personal and scheduled. And here it is. A court document revealed this critical piece of information. Shamar Elkins and his wife were scheduled for a separation hearing on April 20th, the day after the attacks. You know, this timeline, it gives us the what, the where, and the when. But understanding the why, that's what remains the most haunting question of all. It's a question about what on earth could push a father, a veteran, past some breaking point to commit an act this unimaginable, leaving a community just searching for answers in the rubble of a terrible tragedy.